Good morning. Just going to wait a few moments to um, start until I see if anyone's online. So just give it a second. It is Sunday, June 13th, and this is just a time for me to share a few things about this morning's sermon that I don't have time to do in the sermon unless y'all want to start staying for a long time. So it's a little bit of background just to give a little more context to what's happening in the story. And a way to connect maybe with one particular character this morning that we're going to be listening to. So first of all, I'm Pastor Carrie, pastor of Sunrise Church, and this summer our theme is having fun in the sun, S-O-N. Some of our activities are actually outside in the sun, S-U-N, with our kids, youth, and any other adults who want to join us. And on Sunday morning in our worship services, then we're focusing on the stories of Jesus. So really focusing all summer long on the joy that we have in Jesus and how Jesus impacts our lives. So part of that series is for us to hear from people in our church who love Jesus and who are sharing their favorite stories of Jesus. So today is the first installment in this summer series, Tell Me the Stories of Jesus. And Carmen Benoit is sharing this morning her favorite story, which is the woman who having been hemorrhaging for 12 years, touches the hem of Jesus's robe and is instantly healed. So that's what I'll be focusing the sermon on. We're going to talk a bit about that interaction between Jesus and the woman. But I want to talk about now, or just give some background into this, really what this woman's life was like. So we are told by the text that she was bleeding or hemorrhaging for over 12 years. Okay, so this means she has been, pretty consistently, constantly on her period and in a menstrual cycle, which never cycles out, apparently. We understand that medical condition today, endometriosis, maybe some other things, there weren't gynecologists back then, so it would have been assumed that she was an evil, sinful woman. And all this bleeding, day after day, month after month, year after year, was a punishment for her. Okay? Now, so that we understand, I hope you hear that often from me, that oftentimes in anybody who is blind, who are lame, who are leprous, who are bleeding, who are wounded, it is, just was always about a cause and effect between that person and God. And so the cause, the person did something wrong, and the effect was God was punishing them. Okay, so that is prevalent in society. That is the only way they have lived for centuries, okay, and how they've believed for centuries. So first of all, this woman is considered a major sinner. All right. Secondly, there are the law of Moses sets out some pretty specific requirements around what a woman should do and can do, and what others around her can do and should do when she's bleeding or in her menstrual cycle. And really, the menstrual cycle was only about just bleeding from the vagina, right? It's just this bleeding episode. So in Leviticus chapter 12 and chapter 15 kind of lays out the rules around what happens when a woman is bleeding. Leviticus 12 talks about after a woman has given birth and the bleeding that comes after that. And then in 15, it talks about the menstrual cycle. So part of that requirement is you're considered unclean until the bleeding stops, and then you count off 7 days, And then you can be considered clean, but not until you take some, like 2 doves or 2 pigeons or both, certain animals to be to the priest. So you could be actually ritually called clean. Okay. So imagine for this woman who's been hemorrhaging for 12 years and she's bleeding, bleeding, bleeding. And maybe she has a day that she isn't bleeding, or 2 days or 3 days. And she thinks, okay, this is it. So starts counting that 7 days to where she's going to be considered clean. And that 7th day never comes. That 7th day never comes. So she is she is considered unclean this whole time. And not only is she just have this kind of label on her as being unclean, anyone around her is unclean if they touch her, if they touch anything she has touched, if they touch her bed, if they sit in a chair that she has sat in. And so her whole life is completely cut off from everyone else. 12 years. We don't know if she was married, but likely if she was, her husband no longer lived with her. We are told that she gave up everything to pay for doctors to get healing and never received it. So we can probably imagine that she lives in a room that has no furniture. But she probably sold everything she absolutely had in order to find healing so that she could be seen as clean and a whole person and part of society. So it's pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable that she, first of all, survived that long, and that she would even imagine or dare to dream that she could go before Jesus in this state. So that's the background on our story today. Just to understand really the position of life that this woman is in. I hope that you can tune in to our worship service today, either live or by finding the video on our YouTube channel and Facebook Live. We'll talk a little bit more about that interaction, as I said, between Jesus and this woman. And just really the remarkable wholeness that this woman receives from Jesus. And these are the stories we love about Jesus, right? When Jesus restores someone's, not only their health, but their whole being. So I hope that you have a beautiful day. Again, Sunday the 13th. Look forward to worship this morning and interacting with folks. And if you have any questions or ever want to talk about anything, feel free to email me by going to our website, www.sunrisepueblo.org, and you'll find a contact form, or you'll be able to look up my email address there and just shoot me an email and we will start a conversation. In the meantime, may you be blessed this day and every day. May you know the love of God in Jesus Christ, and may the Holy Spirit continue to uplift you, strengthen you, and guide you.